Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about the P0115 fault code, which stands for Coolant Temperature Sensor Circuit Failure. This is a pretty common code that can be caused by a few different things, so we're going to go over the symptoms, causes, and how to fix it. First, let's talk about what the coolant temperature sensor does. As the name suggests, it measures the temperature of the coolant in your engine. This information is then sent to the Engine Control Unit (ECU), which uses it to adjust the fuel mixture and ignition timing. If the coolant temperature sensor is not working properly, it can cause a number of problems. The most common symptom is a check engine light, but you may also experience poor fuel economy, rough idling, or even stalling. There are a few different things that can cause a P0115 code. The most common cause is a faulty coolant temperature sensor itself. However, it can also be caused by a problem with the wiring or the ECU. In this video, we're going to show you how to diagnose and fix a P0115 code. We'll start by showing you how to check the coolant temperature sensor itself. Then we'll show you how to check the wiring in the ECU. Finally, we'll show you how to replace the coolant temperature sensor if it's faulty. So, if you're getting a P0115 code, be sure to check out this video. We'll help you get your car back on the road in no time. The P0115 code indicates a malfunction in the engine coolant temperature (ECT) sensor circuit. This sensor plays a crucial role in regulating engine temperature by sending information to the Engine Control Unit (ECU). When the ECU detects an issue with the ECT sensor circuit, it triggers the P0115 code. Several factors can contribute to the P0115 code. 1. Faulty ECT sensor. The most common cause is a faulty ECT sensor itself. Over time, the sensor can degrade and fail to provide accurate readings. 2. Damaged wiring or connectors. Damaged wiring or loose connections in the ECT sensor circuit can disrupt the signal transmission to the ECU. 3. Thermostat malfunction. A stuck-open thermostat can prevent the engine from reaching its optimal operating temperature, leading to inaccurate ECT sensor readings. 4. Coolant leaks. Coolant leaks can affect the sensor's ability to measure the engine temperature accurately. 5. ECU malfunction. In rare cases, a malfunctioning ECU can be responsible for the P0115 code. This script provides a starting point for your video on the P0115 code. You can expand on each section by adding more details, examples, and visuals to create a comprehensive and engaging video for your viewers. Remember to include troubleshooting tips and potential solutions for each cause of the P0115 code. You can also consider demonstrating the diagnostic process and repair procedures in your video for a more hands-on approach. The P0115 code can manifest itself in a variety of ways depending on the severity of the issue. Some of the most common symptoms include check engine light illumination. This is the most obvious sign that something is wrong with your vehicle's engine. The check engine light will typically come on when the Engine Control Unit (ECU) detects a problem with the coolant temperature sensor circuit. Rough idle. If the coolant temperature sensor is not functioning properly, the engine may run rough at idle. This is because the ECU will not be able to accurately control the fuel mixture and ignition timing. Stalling. In some cases, the P0115 code can cause the engine to stall. This is most likely to happen when the engine is cold, as the ECU will not be able to accurately control the fuel mixture. Poor fuel economy. A faulty coolant temperature sensor can also lead to poor fuel economy. This is because the engine will not be able to operate at its optimal efficiency. Hard starting. If the coolant temperature sensor is not working properly, the engine may be difficult to start. This is because the ECU will not be able to accurately control the fuel mixture and ignition timing. If you are experiencing any of the symptoms listed above, it is important to have your vehicle diagnosed by a qualified mechanic. The mechanic will be able to use a diagnostic scanner to retrieve the P0115 code from the ECU. They will then be able to perform a series of tests to determine the cause of the problem. Some of the tests that the mechanic may perform include visual inspection of the coolant temperature sensor and wiring. The mechanic will visually inspect the coolant temperature sensor and wiring for any signs of damage. Testing the coolant temperature sensor. The mechanic will test the coolant temperature sensor to see if it is functioning properly. Checking the wiring harness. The mechanic will check the wiring harness for any loose connections or shorts. Testing the engine control unit, ECU. In some cases, the ECU may be the cause of the problem. The mechanic will test the ECU to see if it is functioning properly. Once the mechanic has diagnosed the cause of the P0115 code, they will be able to recommend the appropriate repair. Some of the most common repairs include replacing the coolant temperature sensor. If the coolant temperature sensor is faulty, it will need to be replaced. Repairing the wiring harness. If the wiring harness is damaged, it will need to be repaired or replaced. Replacing the engine control unit, ECU. In some cases, the ECU may need to be replaced. The cost of repairing the P0115 code will vary depending on the cause of the problem and the severity of the damage. However, it is important to have the problem repaired as soon as possible to avoid further damage to your vehicle.